Director John Ratcliffe, thank you so much for having us here at the CIA. This is incredible to be here with you. And I know that one of the fundamentals that you talked about coming in here was restoring mission clarity. So tell me where you are on that. What does that look like, and how far have you come?
The CIA, as you know, is the finest foreign intelligence agency in the world. That's our history. But we've had leaders fall away from that core mission, us not be as effective as we need to be in what we do in terms of collecting foreign intelligence and stealing secrets and providing President Trump a decisive strategic advantage against our foreign adversaries. That we're not about politics, that we're about collecting intelligence that matters, that makes a difference, that gives him an advantage as he makes decisions, whether it's against adversaries like China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, or dealing with terrorists. Anytime he has engagements with the rest of the world, we want to make sure that he is armed with the best intelligence to make the best decisions to keep Americans safe.
You talked about wanting to eliminate what you call well-documented politicization of this agency. So what did you find that led you to say that, and what have you done to ensure that that's no longer happening?
Well, you know, everyone saw it, Laura. Yeah. It's no secret. So when you had former leaders in the intelligence community use the Steele dossier as part of the official intelligence community assessment of what took place in the 2016 election, and when you had some of those same intelligence leaders then 4 years later say that Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation, that it wasn't real. Those were the types of politicization that really tarnish what the intelligence community is supposed to do. We're supposed to be apolitical. And that's what President Trump wants me to be. We're going to be better. We're going to get back to what made the CIA great.
Well, we did see this past weekend this horrific terror attack in Boulder, Colorado. What are you focused on to eliminate terrorism here, both abroad and domestically here in the U.S.?
The Department of Homeland Security and the FBI is responsible for, lone wolf attacks. But the role of the CIA, Laura, is to make sure that we're confronting and countering terrorists over there before they come over here, whether it's Al-Qaeda or ISIS or Al-Shabaab. Every weekend I come in and I brief President Trump on the success that we've had on his behalf. And as you know, he has a history of being successful against terrorists, against ISIS, and against terrorist regimes like Iran. And so, again, this is what we need to get back to, and this is the challenge that he wants me to inspire the CIA to do here, and we're off to a great start.
So explain where we are with China, with the CCP, and what you guys are doing here at the agency about it.
So, to your point, Laura, when I was DNI for President Trump in his first administration, as you recall, we were accused of outsizing China as a threat. It was a peaceful China, right? And but now, after COVID, after the Taiwan aggression, after flying spy craft over the United States for 8 days during the Biden administration, stealing our intellectual property, taking advantage of us on trade, no one's saying that anymore. So the way to counter China is to go on offense. And so we released two Mandarin-speaking videos to the Chinese people, inviting them to contact us through the dark web, because a lot of the people in China are not happy with what's happening, and they can be, great sources of intelligence for us. We'll have more people inside, behind China's Great Wall, and giving us intelligence and information on what's happening with the PRC and its ruling party, the Chinese Communist Party. It's those types of things that we're really focused on when it comes to China, is making sure, again, that we're collecting more and reporting more intelligence for the president to give him his advantage that he needs when he deals with President Xi.
Well, last week, FBI Director Kash Patel flagged that the FBI caught a government employed IT specialist who was attempting to transmit classified national defense information to a foreign country. I'm sure here at the CIA you guys have things locked down, but are you on the lookout constantly for things like that to happen?
Fortunately, we have a foreign partner who notified us of that, and that's how Director Patel was able to move quickly and arrest that individual before any damage was done. But we constantly have to be aware of that. Unfortunately, we have people that will, for financial motives or for political motives, release classified information that can help our adversaries. So it's one of the things that across the entire Trump administration we're concerned about, we're focused on, and as you can see, there are a lot more prosecutions and an aggressive approach to it that didn't exist for the last 4 years. And again, President Trump has made this a high priority, so it's something that Director Patel and I talk about a lot.
Well, I think this agency, just to sit here on this seal, I mean, it feels so important and so special. And this is an agency that a lot of people are curious about. We don't hear a lot about it, and I know that's for good reason. But tell me about the personnel. I don't think that the American people hear enough about the people who work here at this building, who work abroad around the world. There is a real personal cost and a personal sacrifice that goes in to working for the CIA.
Well, first of all, to be able to get a job in this place is really, really difficult. So people have to go through an incredible vetting process because, again, we're trusting them with our most sensitive national security information. And these are people, in many cases, that are putting their lives on the line, operating covertly, operating in the darkest corners, in the most difficult, austere environments around the world. They're doing it on government pay, but they're doing it because they love their country. The vast majority of the people who work for the CIA are here because they love their country, they want to serve their country, and in many cases, unfortunately, they sacrifice a lot, including their own lives. You know, our military heroes, when they give their life for our country, there are eulogies and obituaries and stories that talk about the selfless, heroic acts that they took. Here at the CIA, it's a silent sacrifice because people are operating undercover, and in some cases, they're doing things where we can't acknowledge that the United States was involved. So think about that. You give your life for your country, and we have, on our memorial wall, we have 140 stars of people that have done exactly that. And in many cases, no one ever knows of the incredible, heroic things that they did on behalf of their country where they lost their life and they can never be celebrated. That really speaks to the kind of person that's willing to work here. It's an incredible privilege to lead an organization like this that has a history where really the only thing that we're able to talk about publicly often are the failures, not the successes. And the successes so far outweigh. I can tell you that if the CIA wasn't here, our adversaries would move quickly against the United States. Oftentimes, we are the first line of defense. We are what's holding back our worst enemies around the world because they know that CIA is on guard and on the watch in almost every country around the world, whether we're welcome there or not.
What is your hope going forward, say 10 years from now, when people look at the CIA, and what legacy do you, Director John Ratcliffe, hope to leave here?
Well, my legacy will be whatever President Trump's legacy is, and so it's to help him be successful. The opportunity that I have, Laura, for all the things that we've just talked about, the immense capabilities of this place and the people that allow this place to accomplish so much, it's my job to make sure that we apply that to President Trump's priorities, whatever they may be and however they may change. And what I know is that if we do that, the legacy of President Trump, and therefore my legacy as his CIA director, will be that we'll put more distance between ourselves and our adversaries. We will leave them in our rearview mirror, and we will restore the CIA where everyone says, wow, they do amazing things for this country, and get back to, again, the core mission that we need to keep all Americans safe all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every country in the world, which is what we do. And I think that would be a great legacy.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.